What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be running through the close range meta on Battlefield Redsec. I have created a spreadsheet listing the TTKs at every range for almost every gun. I've left out snipers because they're obviously very situational. Although they don't one shot, you usually take your shot, peek behind cover, take another shot. TTKs obviously aren't really consistent for a gun like that, but they're very good. I've also left out shotguns for a similar reason. You kind of play very different with them. And I could get it, but I don't have the information yet on the different pellet damages and stuff like that. But if that's something you guys want, I can deep dive into the shotguns as well. But if we move over to the spreadsheet, I will run you through it. Okay, so this is the sheet mentioned earlier in the video. The link to this is in the description. Bookmark it. I will update this as it needs updating. Hopefully with Season 2 we get some balancing to the weapons and a bit of a shift in the meta so that we can use other guns. All I'm seeing at the moment is just KTS, MP5, pretty much. SGX maybe a little. But today we're just going to be focusing on close range, 0 to 10 meters. And yeah, there's some surprising guns in here, to be honest. The first two won't surprise anyone, but the SOR 300 SC, I've been using this gun for months. It's unbelievable. Nobody uses it. Genuinely crazy to me that nobody else has figured out how good this is. And same with the RPK. A little more recent, so I need to do some more testing, but the numbers back this up for being one of the best guns in the game, close range. I've got a build for you later in the video that genuinely has very good mobility, which holds back the M123K, M240L because they're LMGs, but the RPK just doesn't suffer from the same mobility issues if you build it right. So yeah, stick around for that. Okay, up first, SCW10, the fastest killing gun in the game, should be used by more people. I don't really run into it too often. When I use it, it feels like I just win every gunfight. With 45 points being the cost of the biggest mag, which you absolutely need, the build's pretty straightforward. You just stick a sight that you like on, the cheapest suppressor and the cheapest underbarrel. It doesn't have much recoil, as you'll see now in the firing range. And yeah, there's not really much more to say. It's just immense. Okay. Moving on to the KV9, very similar, almost an identical build as well, because of the 45-point mag, which again, you need. You can only then really afford cheapest suppressor, cheapest underbarrel. Very similar to the SCW we just talked about. The only thing that differs for me is the faster fire rate on this gun. It does feel really nice, but it does mean you burn through that limited ammo even quicker. So for that reason, and the slower reload compared to the SCW, I do prefer the SCW to this. But if you're a high skill player, you can make both work. They're both super fun. And yeah, not really much else to say about this gun. It's just so good. Kills so fast. Okay, on to gun number 3, the SOR 300 SC. Like I said earlier in the video, doesn't get enough love. I never run into anyone running this gun, and everybody should be using this thing. It's so good. It's so fun as well. I've got the alloy vertical. No downsides on this underbarrel, whereas others do affect your bloom, your accuracy while moving and aiming down sights. For that reason, the alloy vertical goes on any gun where I can handle the recoil with that on. That's the only time I use anything else, is if I just can't handle the recoil. Cheaper suppressor, blue laser, similar to the alloy. It actually gives you better accuracy while aiming down sights and moving, which you do in most gunfights. So yeah, if we go into the firing range, you'll see absolutely no recoil. Melts the enemies so fast. And yeah, just not really sure how this hasn't been found out as one of the best weapons in the game yet. Okay, next up, The SGX, pretty popular gun, very good TTK, especially within 10 meters, barely any recoil. I've got the 41 round mag on there, and again, the alloy vertical. It's just a must-have on any gun, like I've said before, that you can handle the recoil on with this barrel, underbarrel. So always put that underbarrel on, try the gun out. If you can handle that recoil, that is definitely the best fit for that gun. I've also got the light barrel on there because of the extra mobility. And yeah, if I go into the firing range, you'll see not much recoil on this gun, kills very fast, good sniper support, even hitting that third target and the fourth, to be honest, isn't out of your range with this gun. Okay, last but definitely not least, definitely the most exciting gun on this list for me is the RPK as a close range weapon. As you can see in the bottom right, 66 mobility. That's better than my MP5 build. I also have hollow point on it, which means it's even more deadly if you can hit headshots. The slim hand stop, as you can see, brings the ADS down to 200 milliseconds, which is in line with some of the SMGs. They're usually about 167. The blue laser, as mentioned earlier, for that bloom issue. And if you see this thing in the firing range, it just doesn't move. As a sniper support, this is my favorite gun in the game right now. You just can't miss shots with it, and it's just so deadly and really underrated. If you use this, you'll be one of few people using this gun, in my opinion, as your close range weapon, and you should get a lot of kills with it. Okay, first up in the honorable mentions is going to be the MP5. This gun's so good. Really good at every range as well. Again, great sniper support. I've got the biggest mag you can put on. The mag catcher's on there just because you have 5 extra points at the end of this build. Doesn't make a huge difference to the reload, but if you look at this thing's recoil pattern, there isn't one. So easy to control. Kills pretty fast at most ranges. You can even hit that furthest target. I like it for getting a sniper shot off and then quickly pulling out the MP5 and just finishing off that enemy. Again, very good gun. One that you see a lot in the game though. Next up, we've got the USG 90 or the P90. This gun's amazing. Just doesn't feel right in my hands, but if this gun feels good for you, it can be really good because the hip fire on this thing is just unmatched. And because of that, even though the TTK doesn't compete with the top 5 in this video, you can get shots off before your enemy's even aimed at you and before you have aimed down sights. So that's how, if I'm gonna use this gun, how I like to use it is hip fire, get some shots off as I'm aiming down sights, and by the time I'm aiming at my target, I've already taken half the health away. So the TTKs are a little deceptive if you use the gun the way I'm telling you you should probably use it. As you can see, built completely for hip fire, and here's an example of what I mean. No recoil for a start anyway, but the hip fire is just crazy. So obviously that's just completely hip fire, but if you see now, I'll hip fire and then aim in, and they just die very fast with that way of playing. Next up, M123K doesn't even have half the mobility of the RPK, which is why it doesn't make it into my meta. But if you play support especially, and then you don't get the sprint penalty, you don't get the sprint to fire penalty, then this gun actually can be very good. As you can see, I've got the most expensive underbarrel just to give the most ADS speed. This thing still has a 300 aim down sight speed, which it isn't good, but if you see this thing in the firing range, it's not as slow as it seems. And it kills so fast that you can make up for that ADS speed just by its TTK being so fast. And it doesn't have too much recoil either. So again, I've used this playing as a support with a sniper or a DMR as my other weapon. Next up, we got the DRS. Really popular gun in the game, especially early on. People have gone off it a bit. Similar to the M123K, doesn't have the mobility for me to actually really want to use this gun, but that doesn't mean it's a bad gun. As you can see there, very little recoil, tap firing a little bit, but again, more if you're playing as a support and you want to have fun and use different guns, you'd pick something like this. For me, just doesn't quite make it above some of the SMGs that I mentioned or the RPK. I think the RPK, for me, being as good as it is close range, just knocks this one back a little bit for me. Right, last and probably least, the TR7. I really do not like this gun. I've made a build because it kills so fast that I feel like people use it in multiplayer where it's much better. And because of that, a lot of people maybe have this thing leveled. And if you've got a pretty versatile second weapon that can deal with the 10 meters plus ranges very well, and you just want something that will kill really quick, and you don't care about recoil, then maybe you'll enjoy this gun. But yeah, for me, when a gun has this much recoil, I really don't like it. As you can see, maybe you could put a brake on it instead of the suppressor, but I always like to have suppressors on my guns where I can. But if we go into the firing range, you'll see what I mean now. The recoil's just... I mean, it's manageable close. But yeah, anything past like 15, 20 meters... Even there, you can see I'm off target. It just feels so crazy the way it just spins off to the left. And yeah, not a gun that I ever want to use personally. But if you like the TR7, then I do think this is probably the best build for it. And you can see up close, it is actually a very good weapon. Okay. Just to end this video quickly, I just want to talk about the shotguns. The M87A1, not really usable in my opinion. If you're very good and have good movement, you can use this, take a shot, get back into cover, slide back out, take another shot. Just kills too slow for me. Same with the M1014, same with the DB12, that thing's atrocious. But this 18.5 KSK is unbelievable. This gun is amazing. Kills in 3 shots within 10 meters. So you'll see in the firing range, obviously they only have 100 health in the firing range. I've built this for hip fire. And you can't combat that. There's nothing that will beat this gun up close. Yeah, and there's just not much more to say. The problem is, in this game, it does feel like we're in a situation where it's either close range or long range. A lot of the mid-range guns aren't good long range. A lot of the long-range guns like the KTS kill too slow to be good mid-range. So it's just finding something to pair this up with is, I think, the problem. And why I personally don't use this gun, even though on the occasions I've used this thing, it's so fun. You just can't lose gunfights. The only issue with it is the mag size. When you're in Redsec, you obviously... But I mean, even there, you can see how much damage it's doing to someone 20 meters away. It's just... Yeah. You use this, you do not lose a close gun, right? At all. But yeah, here's my build on the screen now. Okay, so that is it for the video. Hopefully with next week's Season 2 update, we get some gun changes and I can make some more videos detailing what's changed and hopefully not what hasn't changed. But yeah, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.